everybody, and welcome back again for another edition of the DU Crossover. We're here today with Andrew Phillips, supports the Greenville Triumph, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about their SG, the Genesis, and a little bit of working with the community and kind of the operations and what they do day in, day out. Maybe what a little bit of a match day looks like there from the SG side of the house. Of course, we'll get into the usual topics of kind of a summary of the Greenville Triumph and then kind of what their season has looked like from start till present day. And then we'll also have some fun and get into our matchup that we're going to be looking at Wednesday night when the Hearts of Pine travel down to visit the Greenville Triumph for the second go-round of a matchup between the two. First time around, memory serves me correctly, I do believe it was a 3-1 win up at Fitzpatrick Stadium.
Yep.
I must have got it right.
Yeah, it sure was.
But now it's the return trip down to Greenville, and Greenville gets a second shot at the Hearts. Both looking for big 3 points as the season starts to get into the final third. Things are starting to get serious in terms of playoff positioning. Andrew, welcome to the podcast.
Sean, thank you so much for having me. First of all, welcome to the USL, by the way. There's a lot of new teams, and the first year of being an SG is a lot and can be overwhelming. And I know it's also really exciting. So congratulations on the team. Congratulations on a beautiful logo and kit, by the way. That's awesome. You guys announced, and our whole group was just chattering about how great everything looked. We're like, oh, that's great. Good for them up there in Portland. So excited to be here and talk all things, SG and soccer and lower league, USL.
Yeah, it's certainly appreciated. We've been a slow build up here, kind of like those lobsters out in the bay. Cold water, slow grow, high quality lobster meat, all that fun stuff. I guess it's a transition over to the Hearts of Pine, if you will, an odd one, but a transition nonetheless. Where we've been building for 5 years up here, maybe 2 years too long, but nonetheless, we've had 5 years to kind of what does our logo, what should that look like? What's the name? What does the community want out of this team? Gabe Hoffman Johnson, our primary owner up here at the Hearts of Pine, had plenty of time to talk with the city, talk with the people. And have those meetings and kind of figure out what the community wants out of this club. And we're seeing the benefits of that slow build and all that hard work right now, and that's what everyone is looking at, and that's what everyone's seeing here with these Hearts of Pine.
That's fantastic. And is the ownership, are they from the area, from the Portland area?
Yeah. So Gabe is right from Portland, Maine. Kind of a born and raised type deal. He went to Dartmouth College, and he was actually a captain of the soccer team up there in Dartmouth. So Ivy League guy, finance and all that, I believe, is his background in terms of degrees. And then he actually, believe it or not, he spent about a year and a half in the championship. He played for a team that escapes me at this moment, but injuries kind of got the best of him. So it was a short stint in the championship for Gabe. And then he, air quotes, fell back on that financial degree and went down to New York and oh no, yeah, he had to go down and work finances in New York and probably do pretty good for himself and all that fun stuff. And, next thing you know, USL League One is a thing. Everything started moving in a direction of why doesn't Portland have a team and having those types of conversations and him talking with people up here in Maine now that are now semi-partners and people that really help the community in terms of the Hearts of Pine and next thing we're putting this thing together. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So the Irwins who own the team here are part of the community too. Like if you were to make a Greenville Mount Rushmore, Joe Irwin, who's would be on that, right? So it's really it's special for us to be, because we're not big cities, but also we want to be invested. And when you have someone who's local that actually cares about the area and cares about the city, it just makes the whole experience feel a lot more personal. And as sports fans, we already get too personal, but now we can super invest. So
Yeah.
that's awesome to hear that you guys have that. You know, we were lucky to get started, from the onset, right? As far as being a part of the league, and it's been a lot of fun, seeing it grow. And I love hearing all the stories about how these teams are popping up, and really the process behind it. Because I only know ours, right? Which is
Right.
and it's fun to kind of talk through those things.
Yeah, so that was kind of a bit of how everything got started up here in Portland. The last 2 years that I spoke about was just basically the biggest hurdle I think most teams have is just trying to find a place to play, right? So
Amen to that.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
we had, we had options, we had ideas, we had thoughts, but
Mhm,
it all ended up settling there at Fitzpatrick Stadium, right? And
mhm,
a lot of those 2 years was talking with the city and hammering out something in terms of a lease that made sense for both sides. And Fitzpatrick Stadium is a community stadium. We've got high school teams, football team. The football teams from the high school, soccer, lacrosse, you name it. Um, that is basically their home field, right?
mhm.
Also, we have community groups, pickup soccer leagues, and things of that sort that
Awesome.
are all looking for time on the field. So
Mhm,
um, when we first started off, we basically had we put down a whole brand new pitch. We uh, put in all brand new lights, and
mhm,
they went through the press box and redid all of that. Some $2.5 million worth of upgrades, all privately funded
mhm.
from the ownership group of the Hearts of Pine. So it didn't cost the city a single cent for all
Oh
those
wow.
upgrades.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great.
so that's kind of what we ended up doing going into it, year one. But
Mhm.
it took that extra couple of years that I was speaking to kind of get there,
Yeah.
and having those town hall meetings and votes and
Been there. Yeah.
variations thereof after a vote. Got to come back and do an amendment to it and all that fun stuff. So, sometimes the government gears turn slow, and that's what we were experiencing.
You're definitely not wrong there. Our home journey's been interesting. We started at it's called Legacy Early College, which I have a lot of fond memories there. Which essentially the team came in, kind of did the same thing where they made helped the field, put up a bunch of temporary stands, and it was a great experience. But eventually you got to move on, right? And so we're at Furman playing in Paladin Stadium, which is where their football team plays, and that's tough, right? Because that's 12,000, I think, and even if we get a good four, which is a decent crowd for this league, it feels empty, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
but we're excited about getting a new home, which the building we broke ground on this year, and going to the legal thing. I mean, we literally voted on this or tried to get a vote on this a few years ago, and we got sent to a finance committee that voted it down, and then they got voted out. The government doing their thing, right? And
Yeah,
so eventually we made it back around, and so we're actually seeing them level out ground and stuff. So it's really exciting to think
things are
about.
happening down there.
Yeah, things are finally happening, and that's such a. I mean, it's such a long process to try to get that to where you want. I'm jealous of like the Tormentas that had, or the Red Wolves even that have like their specific stadiums built
Yeah,
for those teams, and excited to get there and be like, okay, this is actually our home. We don't feel like we're renting it out, and so
right.
I think that's pretty exciting. But yeah, I mean, it's all a part of the journey, and we got to see it happen before the season even, the league even started, right? So just to give you background, right? Let's just jump into it from an SG back, kind of our genesis. We started out as a group of American Outlaws, right? The U.S.
Yep,
Supporters group.
yep.
We have a chapter up here that I was a part of, and so we had heard rumblings that USL was looking to start another league, right? And then we heard rumblings that they were sniffing around Greenville. And we're like, well, this is, I mean, so soccer in the Upstate is huge, right? Furman up the street, has a lot of really great pedigree there. Clint Dempsey being the biggest name, right? Clemson has an amazing soccer team. They've got a couple of national titles. We've got three really large youth soccer, groups. And so we're like, well, this is obviously the prime spot for it. We're a growing city. And so we had heard that they were going to be looking around, but we knew that there was no one interested technically at the time. There were no big names that had stepped forward to say, hey, we want to do this. So I had the idea that we should start a petition. And so I went through change.org and we started a campaign called USL to GVL, right? And so we used that and created this big social push, and the news picked it up locally here. We ended up getting thousands and thousands of signatures within a few hours as it continued to build up steam. And with change.org, what the funny thing is, you can put it in there to say, hey, every X amount of people who sign this petition, send an email to blank. And so I figured out an email to send it to on USL. And so every time we got new signatures, it got sent. So fast forward, USL, the vice president, a couple other folks come by to look at Greenville, to talk to our Chamber of Commerce here to see if they can find people who are interested. We found out and we said, hey, you should come. We were playing USA versus Jamaica. You should come hang out at our AO bar. And then they showed up and said, hey, and had a great time, had some beers, watching soccer. I think we lost that game, unfortunately, but it was still a good time. But in that experience, they said, hey, by the way, please update your signature thing to not email us as much because we've got way too many emails from you guys. So it did really
well. Sounds like a good problem to have.
Exactly. It was a great problem to have. It got a lot of attention. And I don't really know what happened first, whether the Irwins stepped in first or whether that happened, but it in tandem definitely did eventually. And then, Greenville Pro Soccer was announced, a few months after that. And so we, from that little mailing list and from that social campaign, we're like, okay, let's turn this into something else. And we changed it to a placeholder because we're like, you know what, we're going to have a supporters group for sure. We don't know what the team name is, so let's just hold on and just see. And so while we were talking about it, we're just kind of throwing names around. Like, well, we don't know what the team name's going to be. Let's just do something local as a kind of the. And so someone's like, well, the Reedy River, if you don't know, is this huge river that runs through. Well, I say huge, but it's not that big. Sorry, it's not like a Chattanooga River, right? It's a river that runs through downtown. That the culmination is a 25-foot waterfall that's downtown, has a suspension bridge.
Gotcha.
When you see anyone talk about Greenville and the downtown experience, they talk about that spot. That's the Reedy River. So and then we are used to be a textile town. All that was driven by the river, right? So,
yep.
So okay, Reedy River Riot. And we're like, that's fantastic. And we're probably not changing our name. so it's stuck, right? So the Reedy River Riot became the name. And so we kind of took off from there, right? And so we were established before the season started. And it was a lot of fun to be a part of that process. And so here we are 7 years later. Yeah, because we started in 2018. Yeah, 7 years later. And it's been a fun ride. We've been lucky. The team has been to the playoffs every single season. We even have a title. So it's been a lot of fun, right? Obviously, winning is fun.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
We've created quite a community here, and I couldn't be prouder to be a part of this group. And yes, soccer is important, and that's what we do. But I get to hang out with my best friends, every game, and hopefully sometimes do some good, and then yell a lot when the refs are wrong. So that's really the genesis. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, yelling a lot when the ref's a little bit off their mark, as we learned in Division III soccer, is often quite often.
It I'm trying to think how bad I want to go into it. Look, I know that there is a growing problem in lower level soccer because so many teams are popping up
Yeah.
and they can't train refs fast enough, really. I mean, like these guys are,
More teams they
unfortunately,
have, the more
yeah,
refs they need, right?
exactly. So, I feel like we're feeling that in this league.
And next year we got what, 7 more teams, 6 more teams coming
Seven,
in?
yeah, I think so. That sounds about right. So, it is what it is. Like our goal is not to say, hey, not to completely focus on that because there's going to be some bad calls for
Yeah,
us, against
yeah,
us.
right.
And to be
It
honest with you, it's
happens.
just it's a part of the curiosity that makes USL League One, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it like, hey, this is fun soccer, and it gets weird when the refs get weird, which happens at least once a game. So
yeah.
it makes it interesting to say the least. But yeah, you said the Reedy River Riot. We've been doing everything we can to create an atmosphere where people want to be a part of it, right? And sometimes they do, especially when we're winning. Sometimes they don't, especially when we're losing. But our goal is just that: be out there, have fun. Yeah, we get upset sometimes, but we're not ultras or anything like that. We're
Yeah,
not trying to
yeah.
start fights. We're
Out
just
there
trying
having
to
a
have fun.
having a good
I
time.
mean, to be honest with you, we've got a couple guys that I'll shout out to Brandon. His main goal is to make the opposing team laugh at him, through things he says. So, and eventually we get him. Eventually they give us some thumbs up, and so it's we've had some fun with goalies over the years that have been awesome. So, and we've had some experiences with goalies where they didn't appreciate the heckling, and that's been interesting too. So. Um, it's just a good time, and like I said, just enjoying this level of soccer. And I mean, it's I think one of my favorite things too is uh, no matter who you are, soccer is one of those things that I think a lot of people go in like soccer is boring, but you go to a game and you're going to find something, whether it is the actual play or it is the interaction of the fans. I don't think you leave a soccer game going, "Oh, I was super bored," right? Because it just until you actually sit down and actually watch a game and invest, you don't really get it. But once it clicks, it's addictive, and so that's obviously where I'm at. So,
Yeah, I'm with you. And anytime you go to we'll call it a proper soccer match, where you've got a good
hmm
atmosphere in the grounds, and you get some good SGs, kind of having some fun, going back and forth at each other a little bit,
hmm
along with the play that's on the pitch.
hmm
And that's all part of the whole thing. And in terms of the home field, and making sure that the club is actually getting some good food people in there, and everyone's got a good selection to choose from, and everyone's well fed and entertained and
hmm
boisterous. That is what makes a good soccer atmosphere.
hmm
And the more of those that we can sprinkle throughout USL League One, the better off this league will be, and the better
Agreed.
off
Yeah.
better off that all of USL will be, as that continues to multiply as the years move forward.
Completely agree. Like in the end, the core soccer movement is going to be around the SGs, right? You're always going to have the casuals, and that's great. I mean, any sporting event, you want that, but without your diehards, I mean, you got
Yeah,
to have that base, right? And
yeah,
so, and I can tell you, there's a lot of really great SGs out there in the USL. Some of them are taking a little longer to get there, but some of
yep.
them were ready from the onset too, right? And that's just been so much fun to meet all these different people. And we all have similar stories where we're in this, like, we don't live in metropolitan areas, but we live in big enough places that these type of teams can thrive, and that's exciting. And look, with USL continuing to expand and with Pro Rel on the table at some point, who knows? Obviously MLS is gatekeeping soccer in the U.S.
Hmm.
But I think that if USL does it correctly and they cultivate the community movement, right? Because all these teams in Europe, they've had teams for hundreds of years, seems like, right?
Yeah,
And that's why they're a part of the fabric of the community, and that's something we have said we want to try to do. I mean, that takes time, right? You don't just say, "Hey, we have a team," and now that everybody embraces it. it has to be a part of the zeitgeist. It has to be a part of the common conversations. Like, what do you do in Greenville? Oh, well, you go downtown to look at the river. You go to a Triumph game. That kind of thing. Like, until
Yep.
that's a part of the conversation, and if USL cultivates that, and they do pro rail correctly, there's a chance that the passion can really move them in ways that does better in the long run. That has more longevity than, say, the gatekeeping that is MLS. Who knows? We'll see. Obviously, MLS is trying to fight it, but in a perfect world, to me, the United States would go, hey, we should do what the rest of the world is doing. Like, hey, we're doing it wrong. And they embrace that, and we can go to that type of structure. But until then, we'll have our own version of it, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So fingers crossed, so.
Yeah, I think, to your point, USL, in the short stint that in terms of League One anyways, has been around some, 5 or 6 years or whatever it may be. Continuous progression has been shown
Mm-hmm.
from the get go. I know I've been watching League One for probably, not including this year, 2 years prior,
Okay. Yeah.
just to kind of get a lay of the land, and I knew Portland was going to be a thing, and I kind of wanted to kind of see what the different teams are and who does what and this and that, and style of play and level and all that fun stuff and whatever, and keeping an eye on the different home matches and where I thought some of the better atmospheres were, and down the road type deal ideas of away days and what that looks like and all that sort of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
to your point with some history, probably just a coincidence, but there was a YouTube video that just came out, called Because Football. I would suggest
Mm-hmm.
to go ahead and take a look at that. It's all about New England soccer documentary, and it's very
Mm-hmm.
historically based, and it goes back into the 1900s and what the U.S. looked like up here in the New England area with soccer and the ties to the U.S. national team and so on and so
Mm-hmm.
forth, and even across the pond and over in Europe and pulling people over here, and what that looked like back then, into what it is now. And of course, they take their stops with the current day soccer teams, with the Revolution, Rhode Island FC, Hartford.
Mm-hmm.
They come up to see us, of course,
That's
and
awesome.
the Massachusetts teams like the Mutiny and stuff like that. It was really well done. Typically, when I started watching it, I'm thinking it's going to be the usual type of soccer YouTube videos that everyone typically sees, kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
cookie cutter almost. But he went heavy into the historical side of things, which I thought was a great twist. Well done, and certainly would recommend it. I certainly have been recommending it to the Dirigo Union on my end of things, and
Awesome.
early on, I've been getting some real positive responses back on that, thanking me for the steer. Really well done. Again, because football, I would certainly
Because
suggest go take.
football. Yeah, I'll definitely. I love a good soccer doc, let me tell you. So where do you guys get your name from, by the way? I don't think I know the answer
Yeah,
to that.
so the Dirigo Union. Dirigo is part of the state motto for I lead,
Okay.
and it's on a state flag, um,
Gotcha.
and
That's
so the
awesome.
Dirigo Union took it from there.
Hmm.
And then we actually started out with, before the club was actually announced and built. This SG is actually, much like yourself, older than the club itself. So
Hmm. Hmm.
on the crest, for Dirigo Union, we had a star there, which was supposed to symbolize the North Star being a northern
Hmm.
team.
Hmm.
All that stuff ties in with the I lead. Um, and so when the Hearts came out, we decided that the star probably don't make much sense anymore. So let's remove the star and put the heart there, because the one of the mottos there for the Hearts of Pine is "Lead with your heart," right?
Yeah,
So it certainly made sense, much more than the star once the club was announced and the name of the club was announced. So we lead with our hearts. So that's the
that's
Dirigo
awesome.
Union side of things.
Gotcha. That's really cool. Yeah, it's picking a name's tough, right? Because you're like, well, this is something we're going to be stuck with. So let's make sure it sounds great and
Right.
is, we obviously, I think people down here just call it the Riot for the most part, but it is a mouthful to try to get all three in there. But it's when you try to find your identity, you want it to be meaningful, right? And not feel fabricated, right? So
Right.
that's awesome. That's really cool. So Portland, by the way, is a great town. I was there earlier this year. I've been a couple times. I went for work, and I went in, I want to say February. It
Okay.
was really cold. Yeah, can't do it. I'm
Yeah,
from the South.
February,
Yeah,
Maine's pretty cold.
I'm
Yeah.
from the South, and my blood is too thin for that. But it is something that I remember landing in, and in the airport there was your kit was like on a display and everything,
Yep.
and so. Um, I think my biggest question is how do you, when it gets colder, I'm not, how do you guys, I'm interested to see how you guys play when it gets colder because I assume, especially as it gets closer to October, it drops pretty significantly for you guys.
Yeah, we can have those morning frosts certainly in the month of
Mm-hmm.
October pretty easily, and as we get into the month of November, where it's playoff time, which um, the the team has got some work to do if they're going to try to realistically contend for a home playoff match where
Mm-hmm.
we're currently sitting seventh. It's not impossible; it can be done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they got to start stacking up the wins if we're going to see playoff football here
Oh,
up in
you know,
Maine.
it's and we're on the outside looking in currently because we're sitting at 10th but I mean I believe Omaha both have 24 and then Texahoma who are a step above us is 25. So I mean this is what happens every year is that bottom races there's usually 5 to 6 teams that depending on the week somebody they're going to flip flop, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why this game Wednesday means so much because if we can get those 3 points, we're sitting back at 27 with where you guys are at. So it's going to be interesting. We're historically a team that figures it out towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Although I feel like this is the furthest out we've been this late in the season, which doesn't make me feel great. But we're having a really great run in the Jägermeister Cup currently.
Yeah, you are.
In fact, you mentioned Hartford beat them recently, beat the Battery, beat Indy 11. So we have beat championship caliber teams, right? And so that's been really exciting to see. And I don't want to say that it feels like we have a shot because there's still a team like Sacramento that exists out there. And that's big time. That's
Mm-hmm.
a step up, especially if Sacramento says, okay, we're just gonna go win this.
Yep.
But if Sacramento's like, no, we're distracted by other things, and they let Rhode Island beat them, and then we can pull off our win and actually, we might have a shot. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but it does feel a little more realistic, and that's pretty exciting to make a deep run in the cup. But we have to focus on the league, right? And I think one of the things we've done a few times is we start slow. We're a slow team. We're always defense first. I think that's where it comes from. We're a very strong team from that perspective, or have been historically. And that might be one of the problems this year is like our defense just hasn't been as strong as normal. Because usually what happens is the defense wins us some games, gets us some draws, and then the offense figures it out eventually, and we start that streak. And we have technically been on a 6-game loss list because there's been 3 ties and 3 wins between that and the Jaeger, and then just dropped 1 home game against Texahoma last round. So. It's starting to get sweaty.
Yeah.
Every game, it's just going to be like this the whole time, and hoping for good things to happen. But it's fun, right? Because these are the games that matter. Obviously, this is your first season, and it's cool to see you guys being a part of it. Unfortunately, Westchester doesn't look like they have much of a chance at this point.
No, they don't.
But they they have what looks like a very strong foundation, and so I think that that team is going to be something we're going to have to worry about in the future. Just not your year, that's fine. So, which you want teams that just start out to have some kind of success, right? Just so that they, because fan bases are fickle, that, um, and you get a lot more attention when you're winning, and so we were lucky that we won a lot pretty early. Made it to the finals the first year, lost the second, or won the second, lost the third, right? So we had a great run of final success, or making it there, and so this is a little foreign to us down here to go. Oh no, we're on the outside looking in. So. Hopefully with some injuries coming back around, we'll see that turn around. But it's going to make um, September and October really, really interesting. So.
Yeah, like you mentioned, almost the entire league pretty much still in
Hmm.
realistically in the playoff hunt. Westchester still not mathematically eliminated,
Yeah,
but
I must say mathematically
th-
they're not out of
they
it.
would have
Yeah.
to change a lot on what we've seen out of Westchester through the first 21
Hmm.
matches and completely flip a switch and just start collecting points hands over fist to really get into it at this point in time. So it's probably realistically Westchester is probably out of it. We all know they know
Hmm.
how to put the ball in the back of the net, but the unfortunate part is they cannot keep it out of the back of the
No,
net. So
no, it's not even close when it comes to like goals conceded. I think they're like 6 or 7 clear of everybody else when it comes to
yeah,
conceded. So,
yeah.
yeah, good for them. They can score, but they can't do anything else.
When I talked on a previous crossover with their SG general, he was mentioning the quick start that they had in terms of building an SG and building a team from the
Hmm.
time that they were going to do it and it was announced and it was all go to the time they kicked the ball was 9 months. So
Oof, that's fast. Yeah.
putting something together in 9 months to be a competitive USL League One soccer team, that's fast. That's a
Hmm.
lot of moving quickly, a lot of hiring, a lot of recruiting, a lot of training, all within 9 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So probably shouldn't be too surprised to see Westchester having a little off year in their very first year. Kudos to them that they've got the offense that they do.
Hmm.
They just don't have the other side of the ball figured out. So I think to your point, they'll get it figured out in the off season, and they will probably be a team worth reckoning with next year, assuming they keep all of their key offensive players for
Yeah.
next year.
No,
Um,
completely agree. I think it's going to be fun to see where that team goes next, and they invest in the defense next year, and that team
mhm.
could be something to reckon with. And I mean, all the newer teams have really, you guys, Alta, Naples, have put up quite a year so far, and so that's been really exciting to see. And hey, you were talking about the away day stuff. We're lucky where we are because we're pretty well located because we've got Knoxville, Chattanooga, Richmond, Tormenta. Those are all pretty drivable, right?
Hmm.
Charlotte, sorry,
Hmm.
I don't count Charlotte, but they're there. So you've got all of those teams that are pretty easy to get to, and so it allows us to get to a lot of different away days. But the Portlands get brought up and like, hey, it'd be fun to go to Portland, right? And so you're definitely one of the ideal away days when someone wants to like really really take a swing at a further one. So I'll look forward to be able to experience the city again because I love Portland and then
Mm.
hopefully watch some good soccer. So
Yeah, come on up.
we'll
Come on
see.
up anytime. It's certainly a good atmosphere up here in Portland. Worked hard
Awesome.
on that. We've had a sellout every single match so far this year. I believe that is a record for USL League One. So each home match that we sell out going forward, or have been, I think probably for the last 4 or 5 games, I think is when
That's
we
awesome.
actually had the record. So each match going forward is just another game on top
Just
of
setting that
holding
bar.
the record. Yeah.
Just setting that bar. That's awesome. How big is the stadium capacity?
So seating capacity is 5,500.
Awesome.
We basically have north of 5,700 every single match. I
That's
believe.
awesome.
I believe the very first match. I don't think we quite got to 5,800. I think we're like 5,784 or somewhere in
Hmm.
that neighborhood. So just shy of that 5,800 mark. But anything over 5,500 is basically standing room at that point in time.
Yeah,
But
that's fantastic.
we've got a hill on the end of one of the grandstands that people like going and throwing a blanket down and just sitting on the hill and just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
it's right in front of a hot dog stand strategically, of course,
Love
right?
that.
So,
Yeah, yeah, love
you know,
that.
go up the top of the hill, grab a hot dog, come on back down, sit down,
That's
watch
cool.
the match. They got some porta potties not too far away, so you kind of get everything you need if you want to sit on the hill. And then of course people standing up against the rail and all that sort of stuff in front of the grandstands, and we've got some kid zone on one end, and we got kind of the corporate tents and all that fun stuff on the other side. And there's plenty of room to go ahead and kind of spread out a little bit.
That's
If
great.
sitting in the stands really ain't your thing, you got a few places that you can go. So that's
I don't
kind of
think I've, yeah, I don't think I've sat down during a soccer game in a really long time, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. It's usually a lot of standing, a lot of walking, right? So,
Absolutely.
Andrew, so you kind of touched upon the summary for basically Greenville so far this
Mhm.
year. Kind of what are those last 5 or 6 matches look like for you guys coming into this Wednesday?
I think that we've put a lot of effort into the Jägermeister Cup, right? And
Yeah,
so, and it's gone well, right? So we're in the semis, and that's an exciting thing to be a part of. But it's been draining, right? We've seen some guys really get pretty gassed. So, and I think the Texahoma is probably a good result. We lost, but it's from that, right? That's a good indicator of the guy's legs and all
yeah,
that fun stuff. We've had some injuries with guys that we're used to relying on our veterans like the Sebastian, and like the Leo, who's our norm Castro, who's our normal goal scorer. But some of the younger guys like Robles and Ben Zagowski have been really stepping up. Um, you know, um, Siobhan Marsh had 6 goals in 5 games, during that stretch too. Like, so there's been different guys who are stepping up, and it's been interesting just to see and to find that next guy. Last year we had Lion McKinnon, and he was a goal scoring phenom. He's awesome. He's in USL Championship now, as he should be, because he's an excellent player. And so now we're going, okay, who's going to be the creative part for us? We're used to Castro being up front and cleaning up, right? But now we're like, who can make threats outside of the box? And so, I think that's something we're still trying to find, but are starting to get our feet under us as far as that's concerned. Defensively, you're going to see the backbone of our team, which is Fricky and Pollock. And usually we'll probably see Bub or hopefully Toby Sims back there, come Wednesday. And that team is that they set the tone for sure. And then Chapa Herrera is probably the lifeblood of our team in the middle. He's the little engine that could, right? And when you watch the game, I promise you'll see Chapa and you'll be like, oh, I get it, right? That guy's super passionate. He doesn't stop, and he's really the engine for us. And so hopefully we'll see him and Evans in the middle get some opportunity to get the ball forward. And then from there, let's hope Robles continues to find the back of the net, and maybe someone else does too, right? I think it's been interesting. We are one of the older teams, right? So our team, like say Pollock, Fricky, Evans, Evan Lee, they've all been with the team for 5+ years, right? So we have a older team because of it, but it's been our strength for such a long time because there's not a bunch of new guys trying to learn each other, but I do think it's starting to show our age, right? And so we've made a valiant effort to get younger this past year and a half, and that's fun. There's a lot more speed out there, but it's also inconsistencies because of it. So,
sure.
we are, and I think that's been proven by our record, right? and why we're probably on the outside looking in, because we're still trying to find that solid identity between balancing the veteran play and the new blood, and how does that really turn into a cohesive team. And there's been flashes that are awesome and that we see and we're excited about. I think Robles could be very, very, very good in this league, but there's also some consistencies there. We we've seen some defensive mishaps which we're not used to recently too, where you just can't turn the ball over in your third. You just
Yeah.
can't, and that led to a couple goals here recently, and why we have a loss. So and a draw recently too. So it's becoming crunch time. So the expectation we have of our team is, okay, this is we're waiting later than normal, but this is the time of year where we figure it out and we find a way to get into the playoffs. And so we have not missed, by the way, the playoffs yet as a team. Obviously, being one of the originals, it's a little unfair to say we're the only team to do that, but technically it's true. So we'd like to keep that streak alive, but there has to be some real we got to dig in, and that's something that I know the team knows. So, and bring in the cup too. There is going to be an attempt, right? We're going to do everything we can to win that next game, because how awesome would it be to be able to say, hey, we were in the finals.
Yep.
So it's finding that balance, finding the guys with the fresh legs that can do both. And I think that's going to be Rick, our coach's biggest hurdle over the next few weeks is, okay, how do I take both seriously? Because obviously we want to do everything we can to make that cup run. However, it's getting super late. Like it's getting really late, and we can't put all our eggs in one basket. So yeah, I think that's really going to be what we are going to have to balance. Look, if Marsh and Robles can continue their ability to goal, like to score goals in ways that that we know they can, and if Ben, who's super quick on the outside, can continue his run too, we can be dangerous. The problem is it doesn't all click at the same time. We'll see greatness from one, and the other two will disappear, or two will do well, and one will, So if all those cylinders can click at once, then I think we're in a really good place with Evans and Herrera in the middle. Those guys are dependable, and then the old faithful in the back with Fricky and Pollock. Also, too, Bub has been really great for us this year, by the way. When he's had some injury issues too, but when he's out there, he's been pretty solid. So I have a lot of confidence in our defense and our midfield. It's just we gotta find goals. Which, I mean, this is the name of the game. It really is. But we're not Westchester. We're not putting up 30 plus already, right? So I don't. I think we're closer to that, but it's something that we've got to be able to do. So I think that's really going to be what dictates our success, is if those guys can click, because we can't rely on, okay, Leo will come back and that'll help us, right? We have to figure it out before he does. So.
Yeah, when it comes to scoring goals or lack thereof, for most of the season, the Hearts have been in that same boat where we're pretty good defensively, top four, top five in the league in terms of goals allowed. But we just had been struggling to put the ball in the back of the net. Now, of course, 3 against you guys, of course, 3 against Union Omaha, and we just scored 4 and a win over the Charlotte Independents just this Saturday night. So
we scored 5 to beat them in August. So Charlotte loves allowing a bunch of goals, I guess.
So I mean, we're trying to learn how to score, and we have like 3 games we can point at and say, there, we really stacked up some goals in those games, but. Game by game, trying to get as many points as we can. We got to do it on a consistent basis, is what I'm pointing at here, and that's going to be the chore for the Hearts going down the stretch. Is continue to have that defensive, continue that being solid. We got 4 clean sheets so far in the year this year. maybe add two or three more on the last 11 matches or so,
Hmm.
and score and score some goals. And if we do that with probably 8 of our 11 remaining matches in the league are going to be at home, there's going to be a lot of home cooking for the Hearts of Pine. And with our atmosphere that we have up here, that can only mean good
Hmm.
things, pushing the boys on for some points. So everything is in front of us, certainly within control of the Hearts of Pine. We just got to get out there and we got to execute and we got to claim a playoff spot. So
Hmm.
I know the some of the players on the team are pointing at the top four. We say we support you, uh,
That's
but
awesome. Yeah.
but it's going to be a steep hill. It's going to be a steep hill if we're going to go for a top four. But hey, we're here for it. And if those boys want to go ahead and get the wins out there to support such an effort, we are here for it. So going into the matchup, starting 11 for the Hearts of Pine. Usual suspect between the pipes is going to be Hunter Morse. Was
Hmm.
our is our goalkeeper. In my opinion, and the statistics I think back up the argument that he's in my opinion the best goalkeeper in the league. No question, top two. But in my opinion, I think he is the top goalkeeper in the league. Hunter
Hmm.
Morse between the pipes for the Hearts of Pine. Left back is going to be Nathan Messer. He's been there all year long, with an exception of any sort of nicks or niggles in terms of injuries. He's been our starter. Where's number three, Nathan Messer, left back for the Hearts of Pine. Our left center back is going to be Kamali Green, number 66. He's a college student, first
Mm.
year pro. We've got a few of those on the Hearts.
Yeah.
Coach Bobby Murphy decided to go young and sprinkle in some veterans and coach them up and see how it goes. That was kind of the tactics coming into this original build for the Hearts of Pine. So number 66, Kamali Green, left center back. Right center back, we have Sega Koulibaly, number 45, the same Sega Koulibaly that had some minutes up there in MLS and actually had a
Hmm.
goal winner for El Trafico for the LA Galaxy. Had some injuries and kind of been in and out for the last year and a half or so, trying to get his feet underneath of him and get himself healthy one more time, and decided to give the Hearts of Pine an opportunity, and we're certainly happy to have a quality center back like Sega
That's awesome.
Koulibaly on USL League One. And last couple of matches, he's been 90 minutes fit and has been putting in some excellent performances. I would point at the game against Westchester and see what he does against the current Golden Boot leader in USL League One with Obregon Jr. Um,
Hmm.
I think he had 38 touches all match, zero assists, zero goals, and only two key passes.
That's awesome.
That's what Sega can do against
Yeah.
some. So Sega Koulibaly, number 45. I
Avoid
would
that guy. Good to
I,
know.
I would point him out as a highlighted player for the Hearts of Pine.
Hmm.
Our right back, we've had a bit of an injury yet again
Hmm.
at right back. Early on, mid-April, our starting right back went down with an ACL, and he's out for the year. Jaden
Mm.
Jones Riley, so very unfortunate. He didn't really get a chance to really play for us really at all this year. And so we had um, Kobe Quinones is a Puerto Rican player, plays on the national team, and he's our right back. And he recently is hobbled with, I believe it's a lower body injury. It
Mm.
might be a knee. I don't know all the details, but um, Coach Bobby Murphy said it. He's going to be out for a little bit. So we do have a signing. The last open period that we had for signings, we brought in Mo Mohammed,
Hmm.
which is another college player, first year pro. And he came from the same college as another player we'll talk about a little bit later up on the striker side of things out west. And he's been a good depth backup for us. I think we're going to see Mo Mohammed out there on the right backs for the Hearts of Pine. That'll be the back four. So Hearts play a 4-2-3-1.
Hmm.
So in the defensive midfielder role, and our captain, Mikey Lopez, wears number 5. He's the guy that's flashing the steel in the middle of the pitch. and trying to turn the ball over and get it back on an attacking side of things. He was drafted into the MLS. He spent some time with Kansas City and
Mm-hmm.
New York City teams and stuff like that. Also spent 6 years down in Birmingham, Alabama. Captained the team for their original year of an existence, and is very close with Coach Bobby Murphy back in Texas when he was 10, 12, 8 years old, whatever, coming up in an academy underneath Bobby Murphy's tutelage. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a kindred kind of get back at towards the end of his career. He's 32 years old,
Mm-hmm.
just coming off from Achilles injury
Oof.
that took him some year and a half to kind of even get back to normal,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
he's kind of getting back to normal right now. So just in time for a playoff push. So good for us.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
number five, Mikey Lopez, captain, Hearts of Pine, and defensive midfielder. So your number eight, and where's number eight, is Michel Poon Angeron.
Mm-hmm.
He is a Trinidad and Tobago international, got some caps with his national team.
That's awesome.
Um, and certainly the architect in terms of control of the midfield and passing out into some open spaces and giving the attack a little bit of breathing room and setting them up for success. That's what you're going to find Michel Poon Angeron doing. Your typical, prototypical number eight, controlling the
Mm-hmm.
midfield. Um, Up on the left wing, number 10, London's Ollie Wright, the do-it-all left winger. Good on assists, good on putting the ball in the back of the net.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of really does it all. Like Bobby Murphy said, he's got two good feet, and he's really good on the ball. There's some games just like any other any other players. He might have an off game here and there, but when he's on, he's the most dangerous guy on the pitch, bar none. So, number 10, Ollie Wright, left winger. Your attacking midfielder, number 77 from Yokohama, Japan, is Masashi Wada.
Mm-hmm.
Played up and down the J League over there in Japan. And just last year, he decided that he was kind of interested in making a move over to the USA. And we've got a goalkeeper coach from New England Revolution 2,
Mm-hmm.
Yuta Nomura, and he had actually some time with Turner at the New England Revolution before he went overseas.
Okay.
Kind of worked with him and all that sort of stuff. So uh, the 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 relationship between those two was already organic, and he kind of called up Yuta and said, "Hey, I'm looking to come over to the U.S. You got any ideas and stuff like that?" And he's like, "Let me tell you about the Hearts."
Yeah.
And conversation went well, and Masashi's like, "Yeah, I want to sign." So over he came, and um, another player to really spotlight is Masashi Wada.
Mm-hmm.
Really good at moving to space and creating space. Your typical prototypical number 10 attacking midfielder pulling the strings for the Hearts of Pine. Keep an eye on number 77. He's a great player, and we're hoping to hold on to him, but can understand if the championship sides are going to be coming in looking to sign him here in the offseason. We can certainly
Mm-hmm.
understand that. But on the right wing, as of late, that position has kind of changed over a little bit, so it could be a number of two. I'm going to go ahead and say that we're going to see JT Kamara back in the starting lineup. So he wears number 80 and short in stature, very quick stop start type of player, a
Mm-hmm.
dribbler of the Hearts of Pine. Likes to get a little chalk on his boots and get out real wide and dribble into the side of the back line. That's
Mm-hmm.
what you'll see typically with JT Kamara. He's got a pretty good left foot on it, so he'll try to dribble in and put it on his left foot and try to curl one in, or of course, set up an attacking runner. JT Kamara, number 80, the dribbler for the Hearts of Pine, and starting right winger. And for striker, Titus Washington, which is the person that I was talking about earlier on, another player coming from college, first year pro.
Okay.
Your prototypical number 9, good with
Yeah.
back to goal, passing off to attacking midfielders, liking to post up on the center backs, all that sort of stuff. Where's number 14? That's Titus Washington. he's been dealing with a little bit of a strain, so we may not see him. Another guy that we may possibly see is number 99. Um, he's another guy that was just coming out of college, and early on in the season, he went over to Norway. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Noah Kavifta, wears number 99. More than likely, probably going to be our starting striker. I'm going to say Titus is going to make the squad, probably be on the bench. Um, yeah, maybe we bring him in for 15 or 20 if we, towards the end of it, if we need him or that something like that. I think he was kind of a day to day with that strain. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe he'll be on the bench and we'll see Noah up front. But that is the starting 11 for the Hearts of Pine. Again, 4-2-3-1, playing on the front foot. You guys saw it all in the first go round. That's just kind of how we like to play. We do a couple different things in the back line. Sometimes we'll rotate to a back three, push another one up. It all depends on how the game is going. But Coach Bobby Murphy likes his wingers to kind of be in that channel. Get the width with the outside backs is typically how he
Mm-hmm.
likes to play. And wants to attack, wants to turn the ball over in the other third or midfield, and looking to put the ball in the back of the net within 5 or 6 passes. He's not really big on kind of passing it around the back and eating up possession, and that's not really his thing. We'll do it every once in a while if the boys need a breather. Maybe just
Mm-hmm.
kind of pass it around, get your breath back a little bit. But primarily, we're looking to go vertical, and
Gotcha.
that's kind of what the Hearts of
So
Pine are about.
we're the opposite. We love passing it around. We like I said, possession's our thing. We love passing it back to the goalie. So we definitely will. You'll see a lot of possession out of us and moving it around to try to find see who has the instinct to go forward. Sometimes it can get frustrating as a fan. You go, okay, well, we're just going to sit around and just
Yeah.
continue to kick the ball around without any significant movement forward. But I mean, style of play matters, right? And you want your guys to be comfortable, and that's what they need to do to be comfortable. Let's do it, right? And so I think it'll be interesting. I'm still not convinced I know who our starting 11 will be, just because Coach Rick has been mixing up a good bit. But I assume you're going to see Rakenberg in goal. The normal mix of Pollock, Fricky, Bub, and then I assume it's going to be Sims if Sims is ready to go. Toby's been playing really well recently, and so we'd love to have him out there too. And then the mixture of the middle will be interesting. I know that Herrera and Cavino will be a part of it, but it's who do the wingers look like? We play like a hybrid 4-4-2 essentially, right? Where the wingers are encouraged to move up the field. So you'll have Zakowski out there for sure, and then who knows who will be on the other side of him, right? But I would expect that we'll see Mensah and Robles up top. Mensah is, I believe, came from Chattanooga. I can't remember. We had a couple players come over from Chattanooga that are trying, Marsh being one of them, that are just trying to get their feet under them. And again, I think Rick is trying to find that group that gels, right? And so until we get that, I think we're going to continue to see a bunch of back and forth. Also, we play in 10 days 4 games, right? So we
Yeah.
have one on the 3rd, the 6th, the 10th, and the 13th. And so I would expect to see a bunch of different names over those times. So I can't guess. I can give you the staples, right?
Sure.
But
That's all we can
I don't.
do.
That's all we can do right now. I think I misspoke. I said we beat Hartford. I was trying to manifest destiny. We play Hartford in the semis, so it'd be nice to beat them. But they also, by the way, they're a part of the blue and green team, right? So
Yeah.
us, you guys,
Yeah.
Hartford.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Hartford too is a place I visit quite often, and I'm trying to figure out if I can figure out a way to get there for the game, because I think that'd be special. But it's tough to do during the week because they have it'll be a weekday game. So, but anyways, yeah, I mean, it's interesting to hear. Sounds like you guys have quite a international presence, which is really cool. Getting to see those the teams from the forward side. Nuhu, who's I would argue is one of the best goalies in USL League One. He's the
Sure.
Omaha guy. He's great. and and has had quite an impact on the league. So it's cool to see those players come in and really do something special. So I hope that it continues to happen where we see those guys that have caps on international teams, come in and really make this league even better than it already is. So, um, what do you think is something we should expect from you guys come game time? What do you think? Like the just going vertical immediately, or what do you think is something that this is Heart football?
Yeah, so typically the staple there for the Hearts, like I said, is the pressing, right? So
Okay.
the pressing and the attacking side of things is usually a staple for the Hearts. One of the things that they will always try to do is make sure they're pressing as a team. So in other words, the lines are all linked together and coming up as a whole unit.
Hmm.
The formation is all moving up together. as, as I'm sure you're aware of, when you have an attacking team, sometimes the formation get pulled apart, create space in
Yep.
the middle of the lines. And that's where, teams like Greenville that are big in possession in terms of passing and creating those types of spaces and taking advantage of those types of spaces is typically what they're looking to do. So those pressing teams, they're looking to pull them apart. Hearts are most of the time pretty disciplined in keeping the formation together. So spaces are going to be hard to find unless you want to do the big long ball over the backside, and basically have a little bit of a speed race with the center backs, right? But
Mm-hmm.
um, young Kamali Green, pretty good on the speed side of things, and of course Sega Koulibaly, very much seasoned center back, and has certainly got his ways of dealing with that as well.
Yeah,
So
knows how to keep you in front for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he knows
yeah,
how to put
yeah.
that big arm out there, kind of armbar you a little bit, and with the strength that he has, can kind of keep you at bay. So
Hmm.
um, basically, what you're going to see from the Hearts is you're going to see an aggressive, physical team, just like we saw in the first matchup.
Yep.
Not afraid to get into a tackle, and certainly not afraid to press the ball and try to create some mistakes in the attacking third. But that's what you're going to see from the Hearts of Pine.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think our game was pretty physical, and I think I can remember going, okay, new team, trying to make their presence known, and
Yeah,
but we're not afraid to back down. Obviously,
yeah, sure.
we're a big physical team, so I expect it to be that,
Yeah,
be a physical game, and I think it's going to be who cool heads prevail when it
yeah,
comes to that, right?
yeah,
Um, and our goal is going to let you guys run, right? But hopefully let you run out of your legs, and then finish you off once you're tired. That's kind of been
sure.
our staple, right? Is just okay. Let their motors go, but let's get them tired, and then we attack. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a fun game. I obviously am hoping for a good game. I don't want a 3-1 game again, but
He's like, unless it's in the other direction, then
Other
okay with
direction,
it.
yeah, I'll
I'm good with
take it.
that.
Look, I'm at the point now. I don't expect goals, right? I'm just happy to have them. So,
Yeah,
uh, but I think it'll be a lot of fun, and it's tough, obviously, because it's on a Wednesday. So, you know, not not as easy to get everyone out there because of
sure.
work and school and all that fun stuff. But it'll still be a lot of fun, and we'll still have a lively the folks that are there will be pretty lively and ready to cheer our boys on. So, uh, all right, well that's interesting.
So the one thing that I was going to add in on the physical side of things, just as another footnote.
Yeah.
What, so in terms of yellow cards, red cards,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the amount of yellow cards by team across the league, last time I looked, which was some couple weeks or so ago, so it may have changed slightly. Hearts of Pine was number one in terms of yellow cards in USL League One. However, if you look at the red card side of things,
Mm-hmm.
again, at the time that I was looking, there was only two teams that have not seen a single red card this year. Hearts of Pine was one of them. So
Hmm.
physical, yes. Overbearing and getting red cards, no. So they know where the line is my point. And
Mm-hmm.
they're willing to take the yellow cards. They're willing to get physical, but they are not to the point where we're losing a person off the pitch and we're dropping a
Mm-hmm.
man. At least so far this year, knock on wood. But they got 2/3 of the season behind them and not a red card yet. So I think the
That's awesome. Yeah.
discipline is there. They know where that line is.
Yeah, I think I do think we have one of those red cards, but it's not too many. I was looking at our stats. We're mid, basically everywhere. Like when it comes to discipline, assist, goal score, like there's nothing that we are even top five in from any category. So it's there's a lot of things that we need to learn to do well, but maybe we're just a jack of all trades, where we're above average to average about at everything, right? And so
Right.
we've got to figure out how to kick that into a different gear. But we are a physical team. We're not afraid to back down from a challenge. You know, that starts with like the Frickies, who is one of our captains and definitely one of our leaders. He's not afraid to get in there and get physical. Choppa's the same way. Again, like I said, you're gonna see Choppa. You're gonna hear his name called a lot. He's gonna be all over that field, and you know, I expect to see a lot of that. But I think we're in for a great game, and obviously at this point too, it matters a lot, right? You guys want to continue to cement your spot in the playoffs. We're fighting for it, so you know it's going to be a brawl out there. Where because those points are really important for both of us. I don't think it's must win for us, but I do think it's close,
Yeah.
right? And I
We're
think
getting there.
I think the players know that. We are on the outside looking in, and if we get those 3 points, we're no longer on the outside, and that's where our focus needs to be. If we walk away with a draw, it's going to put a timeline on us, and
Yeah.
so I think our guys are going to be super motivated, and so now it's just a matter of making sure that motivation is channeled the right way. Stick to our game plan and hope we can find the back of the net. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Andrew. So now we've come to the time of the podcast where we're going to go ahead and have some fun. We've talked about the starting 11. We talked about the tactics. We've talked about what we're expecting this weekend. We talked about the spots where we are in the table. And as you mentioned, September is here. Last 2 months of the season is upon us. And it's time to get some points. So Wednesday night, we're at Greenville. Hearts of Pine. Travel down, visit you down there in Greenville, North Carolina. What is the score? And have fun with this one. Go ahead and get creative. Call out shots, yellow cards, whatever you may be. We're gonna have fun with this. We don't take these score lines too seriously here. We're having some fun.
I expect it to be a lively game. I really do. I think I'm not going to guess how many yellow cards. Sounds like you guys get a bunch, but let's just say overall there are 5 cards handed out.
All right.
Because I think it's going to be I think it's going to be chippy, especially early and maybe late.
Yeah.
Depending on how the score line goes.
Sure.
Something that's been happening a lot recently, which I hate, is that we let the first goal happen, right? And so if that does happen, then I'm going to say it's a 1-1 draw. If we can score first, then I say it's, you know what? Revenge is sweet. If we score first, it's 3-1.
There you go.
But if we don't, then it's going to be a 1-1 draw. And we're going to, at some point, score a goal in the last third of the game, and that seems to be how they're treating our hearts recently. So it's going to be a very uncomfortable game for us. I'm afraid, but I do think we are a much better team when we're not on our heels. So if we can get out there and make sure you guys don't get a quick goal on us, I think we have the potential to win the game. But if you guys get out there, get quick, and get that goal first thing, and then it can be really problematic. That's what happened with Satsoma, right? They scored in the 8th minute, I think, and then we were just on our back heels for the rest of the game. And so that is not where we want to be. And if you guys can get us there, that's the key to winning. But if we can make sure we let the game come to us, and I think we can really do some good things. So let's go 3-1.
All right, sounds good. Who scores the goals for Greenville?
Um, Robles, Marsh, and because Marsh scored against you guys he was our one goal scorer against you
Yep.
guys in Portland. Um, but you know what? What's really interesting with Robles when he scores twice. So let's say
No.
Rodrigo gets two, and then Marsh gets one, and then we go home really happy and excited. So I'm going to say that. Yeah, for whatever reason, the last 3 games, maybe his last 2 games, he's had a goal. It's been twice. So let's just give him 2 of them. Yeah, let's do it.
All from the field of play?
Um, yes, because we are so bad at penalties. Let me tell you, it is
So
the
if we get it,
fact.
so if Greenville gets a penalty, we all just lean back in the chairs and be like, "Don't worry
You're
about it.
fine. You're fine. We're
We're
gonna miss.
fine."
You know what's really interesting is so we went to a penalty shots with Indy 11, and we're like,
Yeah.
well, this is it. It's over. Like,
We're
because
done.
we're done. Because and it's a running joke with us, but we are very, very bad at penalties. I think we've only converted maybe 50% at best.
Mm,
Like, it's bad.
wow.
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
And we've changed the guys taking the penalties. And so for whatever reason, we're good when it's a shootout, but when it's in game, we've had problems putting them in the back of the net. So I'm going to say no because that's uncomfortable for me. Let's get all
It's all
let's
field
get
of play.
yeah all field of play. But you know what? We talked about the refs. There's a good chance there's a penalty kick or two. So we'll see what happens.
All right, sounds good. Scoreline, scoreline, scoreline. I need a scoreline. All right, so I think first 5 minutes, I'm going to say, all right, I'll give him a benefit of the doubt. First 10 minutes of the match, Mikey Lopez gets a yellow card because that's what
Okay,
Mikey Lopez does.
that's
Mike,
fair. That's fair.
Mikey gets yellow cards early in matches, and we all joke. It's like, okay, his game started now. Mikey's got his yellow card. He's now playing soccer.
Yeah,
That's that's a thing. I would
I
love
love
to.
that.
I would love to look up and see how many yellow cards Mikey Lopez has. He must have a third of the Hearts yellow cards this year.
All right, I'll look out for Lopez yellow card.
Yeah,
Good.
so first 10, 15 minutes, yellow card, Mikey Lopez. Um, we're probably going to be looking at when we're on the road, goal counts, like I discussed before earlier in the podcast. We're tough on getting goals in the back of the net, anyways.
Mm-hmm,
We've been starting to get a little bit better, but we need to show it consistently that we now know how to score.
mm-hmm,
We have the blueprint to put the ball in the back of the net, and we can do it on a consistent basis. That's what we need to do. Um, we have also, for the second time this year, I know earlier on I mentioned, not in this particular podcast, but with other previous conversations outside of podcasting, I had mentioned that I thought it was the first time we've won back-to-back games all year. It is not. It's the
Okay.
second. It's the second time we've won back-to-back games all year. So if we can actually get a win on the road against Greenville,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be 3 games in a row, which is the first time all season, and we'll actually have what they call a winning
A
streak.
winning streak. Look at
It's
that.
happened before. It's a thing. Maybe a little bit more harder, a little harder in soccer perhaps, but
Mhm.
Hearts of Pine would like one of those winning streaks. That would be a really nice thing for the Hearts of Pine. So going down to Greenville, yellow card for Mikey Lopez in the first 15 minutes.
Mhm.
First half, we're going to see one goal, that goal is going to come from Ollie Wright, build up down the left-hand side, which is typically how the Hearts like to attack, by the way.
Mhm.
We are getting better down that right-hand side now and making it a little more, I wouldn't say even on the attack,
Mhm.
but maybe like a 60-40, if you will. That left-hand side is really Hearts of Pine's favorite
Gotcha.
to build up down that left-hand side with coming out of the back and going up to maybe MPA, Michelle Poon-Andrew, that number 8 attacking midfielder I was talking about,
Mhm. Mhm.
box to box rather, and playing with Nathan Messer and Ollie Wright down that left hand side, and you'll see Ollie Wright and Nathan Messer play off each other, whether Nathan's going to take it wide or he's going to run narrow or whatever that may be. But Ollie Wright will score in the first half for the Hearts of Pine. I'm going to say Greenville stays off the sheet in the first half. So at
Hmm.
halftime, it's going to be 1-0. So going into the second half, one of the things about the Hearts of Pine in terms of set pieces and corner kicks, we have yet to score on a corner kick this year.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's one of those albatrosses around our necks when it comes to corner kicks. So much like your penalties, don't sweat it. Corner
Gotcha.
kicks,
Okay.
don't worry about it.
Okay. Good to know. Good to
It's
know.
not going in the back of the net.
Yeah. One
And
one of our yeah, one of our favorite cheers is you're not going to make it during the corner kicks, so
you
we'll make
got
sure
it.
to be nice
Yeah,
and loud.
you,
Yep,
you're
yep,
good.
be nice
Yeah,
and loud. Yeah.
yeah. If it does, it's going to be the very first time in, in league history for us, since this is our
That's
first
gonna.
year.
We don't want to be on that history. That's out of history. That we want to avoid that as much as possible.
You will be the team that conceded Portland Hearts of
Great.
Pine first corner kick
Good
goal.
to know. Good to know. Guys, don't you dare. We do not want that. We do not want that. Okay. All right.
All right, so second half, we start off 1-0.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
Hearts of Pine are probably going to rack up probably somewhere in the vicinity of 6 to 7 yellow cards. I'm not going to distribute those across the players, but that we're going to be somewhere in that wheelhouse, probably 6 or 7. I agree.
Wow.
It's going to be a physical matchup.
Yeah. 100%.
So in the second half, we're gonna have probably you guys are probably gonna end up equalizing within the first probably 15 minutes of the second half.
Love that.
Halftime talk doing its job. Guys going out there and executing. We have to adjust to that, right? So it's gonna be 1-1. um, and then basically we're gonna bring in some guy called Jake Keegan
Oh,
in off the
what?
bench.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a Hearts of
I
Pine player, and
I did not
I'll give
not realize that.
I'll give you a heads up. We talked to him on a podcast that we have.
Hmm.
I see the head shaking. We on a podcast that we have called Coach's Corner, and
Hmm.
that's found on YouTube on the Dirigo Union channel. And we asked Jake, where he's obviously a seasoned veteran. Um,
Hmm.
and Greenville, you know, well known Jake Keegan down there in
Love
Greenville.
Keegan. Love
Um,
Keegan so much.
we asked him on away days. He's like, where's a good place to go for away days?
Hmm.
And Greenville, he said
Hmm.
Greenville is a great place to go for away days. Definitely good atmosphere down there and stuff. He's like, wait till they get their new stadium. He goes, that's probably going to be the best thing for you. He goes, but I'm telling you, Greenville is a great place to go for away days. So don't be surprised if you see some Heart fans filtering down there. Maybe not so much for this game, but
Hmm.
maybe next year you might see a contingent of Heart fans coming down.
Well, we would love to have you. First of all, Jake, love Keegan, right? He
Yeah,
has a lot
class
of great
guy.
history. Yeah, class guy, a lot of good history here. Played Clemson, I think, too,
Yeah.
soccer. So has a lot of history in the Upstate, and really loved having him on the team when we did. Didn't realize he had gone to you guys. That's a bummer. I love we love when players come back, for other teams, as long as they don't score against us. That is, so
So
he will be welcome back for sure. We'll poke at him, but
all right.
he's a part of the history that is Greenville. But also too, when it comes to away fans, we love it. Like we want to we welcome all of them with open arms. If they're of drinking age, we make them do a shotgun with us, pregame. And just the whole point is to create a community, right? And why I appreciate being able to do this is
Yeah.
now we have that connection too. And you guys are always welcome, down in Greenville. The games are great, but also Greenville as a city and as a town is awesome. Very walkable downtown.
Yeah.
Lots of really good restaurants. Beautiful southeast. It's hard to be mad at it. So
Yeah.
we are really excited about the idea of away days from other teams that we don't get to see often, right? But even those that we see more than we would like Omaha, they're always welcome with open arms. So But yeah, that's awesome. Keegan coming in to ruin our day. That sounds about right.
2-1. So 2-1 score line. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give Keegan
Give it to
the
him. Yeah.
the
Okay.
second goal. You know,
Okay.
he still remembers how to do that. And we're going to go away
Uh,
with, of course, 3 points for the away side. Of course,
yeah.
that's how it's
Yeah.
supposed to go, right?
That sounds great. Tell Keegan not to celebrate next to us, though.
We expect you guys to applaud him on as he comes onto the pitch.
We will look the other direction,
you gotta
just like
applaud the
every
hometown
team.
guy.
Ugh, ugh. Don't love that. That's all. That's great though. Be good to Keegan. He's good people. He's good
Yeah, he
people.
is good people. We're
Yeah.
really glad to have him up here, and he's a total team guy.
Yeah.
Total team guy. I don't have to tell you guys that, but
Yeah.
certainly something we have experienced up here with him. He's absolutely great um, glue guy to have up here, and where he is in his career right now, and just as we talked earlier on, those college players in their first year as a pro, and what a what a guy to learn from, like Jake
Yeah.
Keegan.
Yeah.
Um,
A great team guy, great community guy.
yeah,
So,
he is.
so that's awesome. That's a good guy to have out there.
All right, Andrew. I certainly want to thank you for your time. I certainly
Yeah.
appreciated getting to spend this some hour and a half with you talking about the Greenville Triumph and Portland Hearts of Pine, and certainly want to give you your time and space to let us know where we can find you. Feel free to plug away your socials and the SG and anything else you guys got going on, maybe in terms of a podcast in the future or one currently
Mhm.
going on. Where can we find you, Andrew?
Yeah, you can find us at reedyriverriot.com, right? And we're all over social media. I think sometimes the character limits too much, so it's GVL Riot in a lot of places, Instagram, Twitter/X. We have Discord out there too for those that are interested. So we just try to do the best we can. And as far as podcasts, we've had a couple come and go, but nothing
Sure,
that continues to stick. That's a tough one, right? To
it is.
continue to do. So God bless you and best of luck with that and success there. But yeah, I mean, listen, go to Greenville Triumph, check the team out, support them however you would like to, because I mean, really, it's all about building the community, like I said, and this community that is the USL. You guys are on my target list for. I don't have a lot of other team stuff, but I do love what you guys are doing up there. And if you guys ever come down, expect a scarf swap,
Absolutely.
and all that
Absolutely.
good stuff. So, but again, yeah, reedyriverriot.com, and then you can kind of find everything from there. But thank you for the time, and it's great to get to know you and to be a part of it. And welcome to USL. I hope you guys lose this week, but outside of this week, much success, and I hope you enjoy the ride.
I certainly appreciate it. And if everyone listening, if you cannot be down there in Greenville to watch the matchup, you can find it on ESPN Plus this Wednesday
Mm.
night, 7 p.m., September 3rd. Greenville Triumph SC hosts Portland Hearts of Pine. Playoff points are on the line.
Oh boy.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.